Because, Brian, and this, I talk about this in the article on Blog Expression. It took me a while to figure this out. Like why were conservatives having such a hard time getting this one to sit square in the hole? I don't know. And it finally clicked. They look at it as a one-component issue. They think that homosexuality is immoral. It's morally repugnant. And you know what? I can't make a judgment on that. And when I say that, I don't mean I can't make a judgment on immoral or moral. What I'm saying is I can't judge somebody else for having an opinion. If somebody else thinks that homosexuality is immoral, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. There's nothing I can say or do that should affect that. I mean, I can try and reason with you, but what I'm saying is I can't try and take away your right to have an opinion that differs from mine just the same.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
It works the other way. Now, hold on a second. Here's the second component.
It's a prejudice, though. It's a discrimination.
It doesn't matter, Brian. People are allowed to discriminate. They're allowed to be prejudiced. The problem is the second component that the conservatives miss. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to have an opinion on a subject.
Right.
Don't ask the government to enforce your opinion.
Well, and that's where I was going with it.
If we want small government and we want very, very, very small amounts of government intrusion into the lives of individuals in this country, we have to guard it even from our enemies. Okay? If you think that homosexuality is immoral, that's fine. But don't sick the dog of government on them, because guess what? You let it out of its cage, it might bite them.
Well,
and in 2 days, it's coming back for you. And I talk about this in the article. People have a hard time understanding this until I give this example. Mm-hmm. Gun rights. Why? Just the same as many, many religious conservatives would like to see the government put an outright ban on gay marriage, mm-hmm. many liberals would like to see the government put an outright ban on the ownership of firearms because they don't like them.
I think
it's the same exact issue. They consider guns to be immoral. Many conservatives consider homosexuality to be immoral.
Right.
The point is, the government has no authority to regulate either one.
That's right.
Either one.
Well,
you're entitled to your opinion,
and the government has
but don't have the government acting as your dog.
Just like they have no authority to run health care. Same thing.
Well, it's similar in that respect. That you're right. They don't have the authority, but it's a slightly different issue. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Brian. It does. It drives me nuts because I talk to people who I normally get along with great. We're 99% of the time we're on the same page politically. The minute gay marriage comes up, I'm an outcast. I'm the only person in the room who sees that this whole idea of the government being involved and telling two people that they can't be married goes against everything the founders believed.
It's a tough situation. I'll tell you what happens, Dan. Okay, and it's always different when something hits home. Now, I have two gay brothers. Mm-hmm. Okay, I love both of them to death. I would do anything for my brothers. They're good hard-working guys. They're assets to the community they live in. My one younger brother adopted 4 children and gave them a home and a place to live. They would be living in some shelter or something if he hadn't come along. And when I look at it, I don't know why people can't get past. They're no different than us. Okay, their sexual orientation is the only thing that's different. And who are we to preach who you can love? And that's what frustrates me with society. I love my brothers. I would not want their lives because I see how they've been discriminated against, and I've seen the prejudices that they've had to deal with. And it's a real tough situation, okay? But you know what? They are good people. They are an asset to their communities. They are an asset to their country.
Brian, not to sound cruel, but that doesn't even matter.
It doesn't seem to, and that's the point.
No. It really doesn't matter. You're talking about a specific instance, okay?
But I've met
both of these people, and you're right.
But it should matter.
No, it shouldn't, because what you're saying is you're giving an individual example of why a collective should have so-called rights. The point is that that collective has the rights anyway. There's no such thing as gay rights or black rights.
I agree with that.
Okay, there are just rights.
I agree with that.
Human rights.
I agree with that, and I think the difference was there. I was talking. You're talking about rights, which I do agree with you on, and I guess I was leaning more toward why do we have this prejudice and this discrimination that we do? You know, that to me is hard to figure, but I am in agreement with you about the rights. It's a whole different issue in that respect.
Look, you're never going to be able to get rid of discrimination. You can't, because it's in people's minds. The only headway you can make against any kind of discrimination is a changing of attitude from one generation to the next, to the next, to the next. Okay, if we went back 4 generations in pretty much anybody's lives here in the United States, you would see a very different attitude towards blacks than what you see today in that same family line.
Right, and getting back to that whole marriage thing, I don't think you covered it today yet, but the original laws regarding marriage were against black and white marriage.
That's right. That's in the article on Blog Expression. I talked about that. But yeah, they were the misogyny laws.
Right.
The original marriage laws in the United States. The first time the American government got involved in regulating by law marriage of 2 individuals, was to say that blacks could not marry whites.
Right. Yeah.
How freedom loving does that sound?
Well, again,
you can't marry her because she's black and you're white.
Yeah, again, I mean, it's wrong to ever be able to tell anybody who to love and who not to love. I mean, it's just insanity.
Well, some people they try and draw up this argument. They say, well, what's next? We're going to let people marry their dogs?
First of all,
I look at it like, who the hell cares? Why not? I don't care. Look, all it is a piece of paper. The piece of paper between my neighbor and his wife, or
it doesn't affect my life.
Somebody else's neighbor who happens to be gay. The piece of paper between those 2 men or those 2 women, and the piece of paper between somebody else's neighbor who marries their dog does not affect me.
That's right.
Thomas Jefferson said, "It does not pick my pocket."
That's right.
It does not affect my liberty. It doesn't infringe upon my rights.
And
who the hell am I?
And you know what? This health care bill that they're talking about, I'd like to see if there's anything in there about benefits for gay marriages or gay couples.
Look, and that... Again, this is a non-issue. This is like eliminating the law of gravity and then expecting the game baseball to be played the same way. You can't. You have to have a sound foundation for everything else to work. You're talking about benefits within an unconstitutional law.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, why? Well, let me ask you a question. Why should gays have any benefits?
Well, why should we have benefits?
You're damn right. Why should we? We shouldn't.
That's right.
The government should not be in the business of distributing benefits, because distributing benefits is code for redistributing wealth.
It's socialism.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
So for anybody who gets upset, if I don't know this for a fact, I haven't read the bill, but let's just say that this health bill that they're going to be voting on today, let's just say that it has benefits for gays, or it doesn't have benefits for gays. Who cares? Who cares?
Well, it shouldn't even be,
You're right. It shouldn't be in there, regardless. This whole bill should be burned.
Yeah, I mean, it's toilet paper.
Because why? Why? Because gays have no special rights.
All this health care
Blacks
plan,
have no special rights.
This health care plan.
We all have the exact same rights as all of the rest of us.
The health care plan is just another piece of paper taking away more rights. That's what it is. When they tell you by law you have to have health care coverage by law, or you're breaking the law, and the average health care insurance costs $15,000 or $16,000 a year, where are these people going to get it from? But anyway, back to the whole gay thing.
Well, I'm pretty much done with that. Like I said,
then we should end the show.
No, if you really want my take on it, like I said, you can go to blogexpression.com and read the article. I believe it's the top article on the page today.
Right. You got something there about banks? What is that in regards to? Because I heard 5 more banks were taken over by the FDIC.
You know what the really sad thing is, Brian, is that 5 banks closing down in one day is not news anymore.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't even bother printing it out.
But it's just ridiculous.
It is. But it's not newsworthy anymore. That's how far down the hole we have gone as a country with our economy.
Well, yeah, because
that 5 or 6 banks closing on a single Friday isn't news.
Yeah, right, because
it's not worth the ink for my printer.
Anything that becomes commonplace isn't news anymore, and that's become commonplace.
That's right. That's right. Okay, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this article from Forbes. You can find this article on Forbes.com under the On My Mind section. The title is